Okay, hi.
Hi.
Welcome to What We Thought Would Happen. I'm Daniel Webb.
I'm Garrett Sutton, sitting in for Laura Kightlinger.
Yeah, where the fuck is Laura?
She is at work.
Finally.
Yeah, I know.
Right? We were 20 what episodes in, we finally got rid of Laura.
I know.
It was an inside job.
Yeah.
But today we have a very special guest. Is a very special, very funny Mr. Ian Edwards.
What's up, y'all? Good to, haven't seen you in a minute and good to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah.
This podcast is all about me and Laura becoming friends over a podcast, essentially, because that's how people operate in these times. So that's how I'll get to know you today as well. But Garrett's sitting in for Laura. How are you?
I'm good. How you doing?
Good. It's a beautiful day in Hollywood.
Yeah, it's warmer than I thought.
It's not. I know. I dressed.
I'm fully prepared for tonight.
See, that's the thing.
Temperature-wise.
I was just in New York and I overpacked. But I also had I look like the Marshmallow Man or the Michelin. Like everything I wear is fluffy.
Was it cold there?
Just barely. It just started getting cold enough for the non-locals to be bitchy and the locals to be like, "This is nothing." But I loved it. You're from there?
Yeah, I'm from New York. Yeah.
Like born and raised?
No, not born and raised. I moved there when I was like 17. Moved to Long Island.
Where in Long Island?
Uniondale.
Okay, we were just in. I don't even remember. I just played there with Margaret Cho though.
Oh, at what spot? Governor's?
Huntington. Is that a place?
Yeah, it's a place.
Yeah, there. Yeah.
It's a place somewhere. There's probably one. No, there is one in Long Island.
It had a very small town-ish feel, but also this is where young white couples go to get married, sort of a thing, in the autumnal breeze.
Yeah, I'm sure they have a flourishing summer wedding or spring wedding venues there.
Rotation?
Yeah.
You tour a bunch, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you like touring? I love touring.
You do?
Yeah. You sound like you don't.
I'm torn.
Uh-huh.
Because there's a good road and then there's the mid road, I'm not doing well enough to be first class all the time.
Sure.
And then to be staying in the W all the time.
Yeah.
So sometimes I have to take the hotel that they give me.
Mm-hmm.
And the hotel is where you spend most of the time for the weekend. So if the hotel is mid, then that's the mood or the vibe for the most of the weekend. You know what I mean? And it depends on where the club's at. Like if it's in a good walk-in city where you could walk around, check everything out, then it's good. And then some places just limited.
People, I don't know if they understand this, but there are some towns that are great places to play, but the club will put you in a whatever kind of level hotel. But sometimes the hotel is in maybe a sea of corporate buildings, right? It'll just be office buildings or warehouses or shipping things. So there's not even a corner store. But so when it's good though.
Yeah, when it's good, it's good. There's some cities that I love going to, like Chicago or back to New York, or there's some heliums in some good places. Even though it's not really a road gig, it's La Jolla. It's a comedy store there. But you drive up there and it's dope-ass drive there. And on the way back, I'll spend the night, Sunday night, after the Sunday show and take the Pacific Coast Highway all the way back. Yeah.
I think that's a blessing. People forget that PCH is a jewel. I leaned on it heavy in pandemic.
Yeah, man.
Anytime I have a Ventura or whatever adjacent show, take the long way home.
Yeah, take the long way home, man.
It's beautiful.
It's nice to use California.
It's good for because I travel. I'm lucky enough to travel a bunch, and I was just having this conversation today where it was it's satanic, but I'm always happy when I get back to Los Angeles. I'm always sort of happy that I live here.
We live in a place where people come to vacation,
right?
So if you ain't gonna enjoy here, then good luck. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
This year I had a show in Fresno. Fresno ain't the most glamorous place, but the people are great. It was a cool town. It's a cool spot too. And then instead of driving home, which is a 3-hour drive, I was I just headed to the coast. So I had headed and it ended up on the 101 and then just hugged the coast all the way back. Came through Santa Barbara, stopped there and just listened to the radio and just enjoyed myself. You know what I mean? Enjoyed the, just driving through the countryside all the way to the coast and then enjoyed the coast.
The back way to Ojai, right? It'll take, I forget what you go through, but you end up in Santa Paula and you go through the farmland and it's beautiful. There's old cemeteries.
Santa Clarita, I'm sorry, not Santa Clarita. What's it called?
There's Santa Paula.
Simi Valley. You go through the backside of that. Yeah.
It's beautiful. And whenever it floods, it's over, right? All those roads shut down. But I love going back in there. There's an airport, a really small airport that has a restaurant you can stop happen.
Oh, right.
And like you just watch the little biplanes take off and stuff. It's real sweet. And I was specifically did that. I was like gonna take a bunch of photographs. I was feeling poetic. And so I'm eating my fucking airport sandwich. I'm watching everything happen, the sun setting, and you're just watching this. And then this like old couple and their like grandkids or whatever, they are the only other table that comes in. And the grandfather, the old guy, tries to start a couple side conversations with me, right? And then it invites me to join them. Why? Like they just
and you're solo.
Correct. They just see this loser eating by himself. And I told him no. Because I was like, it's going to take 2 seconds before they find out some flaming faggot. And there's probably, you know what I mean? Maybe they don't want their grandkids.
Maybe it was just really wholesome cruising.
I was trying to cut their losses. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, do them a favor. But I don't know. I would never, I don't accept invitations from strangers. I think it's like, also, I just assumed they were MAGA. Just given
they looked MAGA.
The demographics of the odds of it.
You'd be surprised. We don't want to be judged, but sometimes we do judge.
Oh, I'm so judgmental.
Yeah.
It's a defense, though.
Yeah.
You got to see it coming. I worked equally. I've done cruise ships. Have you ever done stand-up on cruise?
No, not yet.
Have you been on a cruise ship ever in life?
Nah, I don't think so. I've done...
Is it appealing to you?
Nah, not really. But
yeah.
I don't... Let me knock on wood.
But the check is good. Yeah.
You know, I got friends that do them, but I just haven't done it yet.
Yeah, it's a thing.
Yeah.
It's a culture.
Do you have to stay like in like the workers' quarters?
No, they put you...
Suite or whatever.
You sort of have to be a diva and fight for a room with a window.
Yeah.
That I learned the hard way, yeah.
They try to Titanic you?
It's very steerage. They real fast try to keep you in your class, but because again, the room is where you spend most of your time, especially if you're on a gay cruise and you're hiding from everybody, which is what I'm doing. It's like you go out and you get your food. You hopefully like can gather a day's worth of food from the buffet, so you never have to leave for the 24 hours. So yeah, it makes or break having a window, shit like that.
I didn't even know they had rooms without windows on a ship. I'd go crazy. That's like, do you mean I paid to go to prison and solitary confinement for a week or however long the cruise is?
Some of 10 days. Yeah. It's insane.
It's like county that stops in Cancun.
And then you get to Cancun, you're like, this is fucking county too. Yeah, the destination is is rarely better. Do you know what I mean? Because it's all the docks. Oh yeah, I do want to talk about that. You worked on Boondocks, right?
Yeah.
I love that show.
Oh yeah. It was a fun show to work on. It's pretty genius, to be honest, and the characters are just hilarious. And Regina King, she did Huey and Riley's voice. So it's just a woman playing two kids and nailing that shit. Just the terms that they would use and the sentence structure. It was like mad real, and it being there helped my writing. You know,
how so?
When it came out, it was just like it just nailed culture. You know what I mean, and how to pronounce it and articulate it, and still like making an intellectual dent. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's a beautiful show.
Yeah,
not just like aesthetically, but like it really does like draw you in.
Yeah.
Was animation anything you thought you'd be working in? You have a really diverse career.
No, I didn't think. I think Magruder came to the club. I think that might have been my second writing job, and or my third. I can't remember, but it was because I think he saw me at the comedy club and saw my stand up, and he's like, your voice fits the voice of the show. That's why I never stopped doing stand up. There was a point when I was lazy and tempted to.
Yeah.
But I was like, if I got one job that way, I could get other writing jobs by like staying in the comedy club. So
I think people mistake that might be a benefit of, was that in New York or was that in Los Angeles?
That was LA.
That's the benefit of living in Los Angeles is that that's why I never throw a set away, right? Because you never know who's watching or whatever rando job could be life-changing and things like that. Wait, describe the moment you were feeling lazy about stand-up or maybe not going out as much. Is that?
I feel like the first 5 years I moved to LA, I really like slacked off standoff wise.
Why? You're just not going up?
Yeah, I wasn't going up. Plus, sometimes writing is exhausting.
Sometimes.
Yeah, you'd be in a room all day thinking of jokes, listening, paying attention, trying to jump into conversations. You're just more tired than you would think. And you got to get up in the morning and do it again. You have no life really when you're writing on some shows because just the hours are long. You're trying to figure this brand new whole thing out.
Right.
And you're trying to get picked up for the back nine or whatever. And it's just like, you're just grinding. It just takes a lot of energy. You go home, sleep, wake up, and then just go back to work.
Like you've worked on several shows. Do you ever go through the thing with like a stand-up where you're like, oh, I want to save that joke for me? Or do you give yourself to the project that's taking up the most of your brain space?
Yeah, I like to leave it open. So I just give it to them. because I feel like we're all like a infinite well of like creativity. Unless you put a cap on it, then it is what it is.
Yeah.
But if you're like, nah, I'm open, I can always come up with something, then you will.
If you believe in the writer's block, you're going to get the block.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel that too. I feel like people put it's a mental thing.
Right.
Because I feel like writing is scary because people always want to be funny.
Right.
But they don't understand that the material comes everywhere all the time. Funny is everywhere all the time.
It's about the words you don't write.
Is it?
No, it's just
Then I'm hilarious. If that's the math on it,
I mean, that sounded great. But I didn't even know what it meant, but that sounds great.
That was about jazz. It's the notes that you don't play.
That you don't play.
That just sounds fucking lazy, but...
You ever see, I can shit on jazz all day until I watch someone play it live. I'm like, you know what? Either I'm high or they are, but this is getting me.
I knew a girl that liked jazz and she pissed me off because she just had an attitude about knowing jazz.
Yeah, right.
So it ruined just jazz. It was like, jazz people stink.
Yeah,
They think they're better than you.
There is a chip on the shoulder. Like, total.
Especially middle-aged white men in jazz.
Don't get me started.
Fucking the worst.
With a
They
record
ruin-
player. People want to make you listen to that shit on LP. Fuck you. Okay, so wait, you've done a lot, but you started as a stand-up, or you were like trying to get into television, or what?
Started as a stand-up in New York.
Yeah.
And then, but then I got a writing job. I did like some TV, like stand-up on some TV shows in New York, but then I got a writing job in LA. So I just came out here, did that. Then the show got canceled. It got canceled while I was on hiatus in New York.
Wow.
But I was like, I'm going to go back. I might be able to, even though I didn't know anybody,
Yeah.
I was like, I just had a feeling, you know, it's like,
Yeah.
maybe I can get more writing jobs.
Was this
Out
the
here.
Keenan Ivory Wayans show?
Yeah.
Oh my
Which
God.
was so fucking good.
Yeah.
Can we talk? I always have to talk about it, but did you watch? I'm 41. I'm old as shit. Did you watch In Living Color?
Yeah.
And to me, that was formative for a lot of reasons. But I'm still obsessed with that show and the Wayans as an empire. What was it like to work with them? Did you get in on any family dynamics? Did you?
It was dope. It's because you know, there wasn't a lot of black representatives of like stand up or comedy back then. It's like, but this was like the main people at the time. So to be involved with anything with them, like even that show, I was watching it on TV.
Same.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then
We were told not to. My parents wouldn't let
word?
us. Well, almost anything on Fox we couldn't watch. But like,
That's funny.
But that was one of them because it was so adult.
Where did you grow up?
In North Texas.
No,
Moms
it's hilarious.
would ban MTV there, shit like that. So they were like weirdly conservative. But I ate it up. I loved In Living Color.
Yeah.
You got into stand up how? How old were you?
Early 20s, like 21.
Were you a
Like,
performer or anything? Or?
Nah.
Burger King, right?
Yeah, I was at Burger King, just chilling, just like trying to figure life out and shit. But I did learn from a friend that worked there that being funny was just a better experience. And it's how you made friends, especially when you don't have the full context of anything. And then like learning how to make things funny without having all the information, you know.
Like meeting a group of strangers and still making a group of strangers laugh.
Yeah, so
essentially.
it's like say you two are having like an inside conversation, or you're just talking about cars or clothes, something I don't know. But if I listen enough, I could come up with a punchline based on like a sentence that you guys said in reference to what you were talking about. And that's what I learned at Burger King because I wasn't born here, you know what I mean? And I'm still like learning football, American music, because I grew up in Jamaica and the music is different, the food is different, the sports that we like are different, and just like everyday nuances, you know, just everything's just different.
Yeah.
And the first thing you want to understand it, then you can participate. But if you wait for that, that could take forever.
Yeah.
So like learning how to be funny is a way to make people like you and be like acceptable. So Greg was just killing it. Like he was murdering this stuff. He was on the fry side,
Yes.
just murdering every day. And that's like putting the burgers in the grill, checking out. I said, we're all laughing.
Yeah.
So I was like, let's make people laugh. So I took somebody's order on the drive-thru one day. That was like my first microphone.
Yes.
I would always like clown and joke around. And this one stranger pulled around. And he's like, did you just take my order? I was like, yeah. He's like, man, you're funny, man. You should do stand-up. I never thought about stand-up ever. And it just resonated. And I was like, that in that moment in my head, I was like, that's what I'm going to do for the rest of my life.
Because for me, similarly, it was like a switch. All of a sudden, like I'd been living this weird life, and all of a sudden I was like, oh yeah, that is what I'm going to do.
Right.
First of all, can we talk about the drive-thru when you took the person's order? Was it one of those handheld microphones where you get to like, it's malleable? Do you know what I mean?
I can't remember.
Or was it a headset?
I can't remember, to be honest.
Because to me, the confidence comes from like the hands-free of the headset, where you can just like, free form yourself.
It might have been just a button and you just talk into it.
Into a speaker.
Into a speaker. But yeah, I was just like probably doing some shit that would be considered hacky.
Sure, but you were learning to swim. But like kitchen work, you worked in kitchens, right?
I was a busboy.
Okay, but similar, back of the house.
Yeah. I just got yelled at. That was it.
But that's where it's at, though. You can, not that you're like getting canceled, but you can really you have free range of like shit you can say. Because there's a lot of shit talking. You sort of have to defend yourself, but you have to keep it light. It's not like a real fight, but there's just a lot of energy while you're working a shift.
Yeah, there was no canceling back then. You could murder someone.
Yeah.
And they'll give you a month off.
It's okay, yeah.
And you
right?
Be back.
Kitchens are kind of like the UN
now.
United Nations.
If you're not cancelable, then you can't get a job in the kitchen now.
Right. Yeah. You're unemployable.
Yeah.
But you're living in New York. Is that when that moment happened?
Yeah.
And so you just, because New York has a lot of places you can try stand up. Like, I think that's the crazy place to start.
Oh, yeah?
Is in the city. Yeah.
Well, it wasn't exactly in the city. I was in Long Island, right?
Yeah.
So the other thing about Greg is Greg used to buy records at this spot called Tri-County, which is like a flea market, like a swap meet. And behind that place was a comedy club. There's a parking lot and a comedy club, just governors, just sitting by itself. Cool. So I knew where the comedy club was because Greg, who influenced me through osmosis to start trying to be funny, I would go with him to spend his whole check at the Tri-County every weekend because he wanted to get records. And then I just knew the comedy club was there. So once that guy told me that over the drive-thru when he pulled up, I was like, oh, I'm going to go to Governor's. So everything was in that neighborhood.
Wild.
Look, everything was in the Greg, the Becoming Funny, and where the open mic was.
And access to it.
Where
the fuck is Greg now? Do we know?
He works for, is it Home Depot in Minnesota?
Oh, we do know.
Yeah.
Because what is it?
I speak to him. I speak to him once in a while. He's online.
That's great.
Yeah.
Because there's some old philosophy. It's like the relationship with the teacher is meant to be temporary. He was a colleague.
Yeah, he was a colleague. I never I'll give him the credit, and I told him.
Yeah.
But like later, I'm just a sponge. I'm just learning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you grew up in Jamaica. What was that like?
I mean, it's a third world country, so we didn't have like house phones or we had an outhouse for bathroom and stuff like that. But it was fun, you know, before like the Jamaican dollar got devalued and things got mad expensive and inflation. So then we moved to the U.S. But before that, I was in England. That's where I was born, but my parents are Jamaican, so they wanted to move back to Jamaica. So we moved back there when I was 9.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
We're in England.
London.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
So wait, have you...
I'm not mad at it.
No. That's a good one. The first time I saw a man with an earring was in London.
Hilarious.
It was remarkable. And it was at a Burger King at Heathrow Airport. I swear to Christ. See,
I know that Burger King's still there.
It's the one, it caught on fire like a few years ago.
Oh, shit. Right.
Is the 10 okay? I was out of town when that happened.
I mean, it's shut down.
It's botched. Is it arson? Yeah. What happened?
I was high and I got that emergency alert.
See? That's the thing they need to know. Is some of us are self-medicating.
Yeah.
And that sound is scary.
Yeah.
When you were starting stand-up, like in the way that you told me it like came into your life, were you already a fan of it? Or were you just, I mean, television was an access to just funny people, but were there actual stand-ups you admired at the time?
Yeah, I was a fan of it, but I put stand-up in the category of like, you can't fake being funny. You have to be funny to do this. Like the comics that I would see back then, they were funny, and it's like it was undeniable. And it's like, yeah, you got to be talented to do this. I think you could fake singing and fake acting and fake other things, but the comedy, you have to be on point. But I was looking at some of the best people. I was like looking at Richard Pryor, looking at Eddie Murphy and George Carlin. Like, you know, I was looking at the peaks of those people. So I was like, yeah, this you need like.
And Jamaicans are inherently funny too.
I think there's funny people amongst everybody.
Yeah.
Jamaicans are very direct, which is funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you performed in Jamaica?
Nah. Trinidad, but not Jamaica.
You're a headliner. Do you ever just go in cold? You need someone to like get the audience going.
Yeah, I always get an opener.
Right?
Yeah.
We saw some German band. They're called Maneskin. Have you ever heard of them?
Mm-mm.
I'm so old, I don't know anybody, but I was dragged to this show at the Forum. Anyway, I'm at this stupid show. They're this huge band. It's their first world tour. They're at the Forum, but they had no opener. So it's like lights are on. Everyone's just barely getting their seats.
Who they think they are, Louis C.K.?
But it was one of those things. It's like you need someone to like warm them up because none of us were ready for it.
Yeah.
We weren't like in the mood. I don't know. My favorite is Nina Simone, who would be like, she had like the Lauryn Hill of it all, where she'd be like late, quote unquote, late to getting on stage because she would perform when she thought the audience was ready.
What did Lauryn Hill say the other day when she was late?
Oh, I don't know. I love it.
There was a
though.
video like her responding to the crowd for being late.
Yes.
But I forgot.
She said she is not late because she does not care, but because she is doing God's work.
See, that's how I feel.
Beautiful.
I feel the exact same way. Have you seen her live?
I have.
Yes.
Have you ever met her, actually?
So I never met her. So when I was in New York, some friends of mine, we used to do everything together at comics and shit. And then there was one time they left me out of this thing. And I'm like, I'm cool. And then the Fuji albums drop, the big one, and my friends are on it, like doing the sketches in between. And the sketches on that album were big.
Yes.
And I'm like, how come y'all ain't tell me about this? You tell me about everything. We did it.
That's where they were.
That's where they were. That's what they left. That's what they left me out of.
Wow.
Yeah.
How does that feel? Does that still burn?
Nah, because I always got a lot of opportunities
Yeah.
because of them anyway.
Yeah.
But I just think it's hilarious. And then later on when Wyclef did Carnival, they brought me in on that. So there's some sketches on Carnival, which wasn't as successful as a Fuji album. But when we were there was another guy there just chilling on the couch. And we're all talking, like in between going in Wyclef's spare room / studio. And then when we leave, I think I'm going to sneeze.
I love
Hold on a second.
a cliffhanger.
I think it, so it might happen. It may not happen. Can't promise y'all. So when we leave after just hanging out at Wyclef's spot and making some sketches and shit, we're walking down the street and Talent, or one of the comics, is like, that was Haitian Jack. And I'm like, who? And he's like, the guy that Tupac accused of shooting him.
Shut the fuck up.
And then the whole Haitian Jack history. I was like, I'm in the, we in the room with a potential killer,
Exactly.
but like real New York City, like
killer.
gangster,
Yeah.
like straight up, like you don't know. It's so funny, man. You just don't know who you in the
Exactly. The company of.
the company of. Like Haitian Jack is like, if you go look him up,
Uh-huh.
it's a lot of shit.
Did you go back and ask for his autograph? What do? You run?
I was just glad I didn't say anything.
Because, what if
You know what I mean?
the wrong thing?
The wrong thing. Even if you're just like, we're all clowning each other with comics.
Yeah.
I'm glad I didn't like
Go
pick on
there.
this stranger and destroy him.
With a serious history.
Yeah.
Who were some of the first people you came across in comedy where you're like, oh my God, is this my life?
Listen, the moment that guy said it on the drive-thru,
Yeah.
I was like, this is my life.
But I mean, I don't know if you've ever met Eddie Murphy or people like that, but who were some of the first like famous or huge comedians that you come across as Ian Edwards, the comedian? Do you know what I mean? Like,
Right.
There are
Like
moments.
Seinfeld or Marshall Warfield or Sinbad, or because you could go to Governors, which was my first home club, and they would let you come see shows on the weekend. So you're like a new comic and you're going to see people who are on major TV shows on the weekend. So like I would just see a lot of people from like the 90s that had TV shows and just see them just like on a regular. Like, even if I didn't talk to them, I was like in the room, watch the show. Like I saw Kinnison live.
Wild.
You know, like
at Governor's?
that Jimmy's Comedy Alley. That was in
Wild.
Queens.
Yep.
Yeah, man, I saw some people. So
Yeah.
it was like,
What was the Sam Kinison experience like?
it was this second hour, so it wasn't as good as the first one, but it's still funny. But you holding him to his own standard.
Right.
You know, I didn't know he was going to die. I'm glad I saw him. Like I could say, you know,
Right.
I could say I saw him, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I seen Bill Hicks.
It's hard to tell when a comic is going to die because it's like they all look sweaty and disoriented on stage. It's hard to narrow it down to an illness. You saw Bill Hicks up in New York?
Yeah, Governors.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Because then I'm from Austin, Texas, so there's like lots of people who at least it laughs.
The Outlaws, yeah.
Yeah, all that kind of stuff, but it's rare to see it out. I want to talk about Marsha Warfield because I think she's so underrated as a comic.
Yeah, right.
I don't even think people remember her from Night Court as Roz, even though that's what put her on, the map and stuff like that. She's still in business. She did the Netflix thing last year and got a really good reception at the Greek. I thought was amazing. But she just kills me, and I feel like she was she's queer, but she doesn't talk a lot about it on stage. But there's like she alludes to it. But I feel like she was so many firsts.
She was mad funny too. Like I just remember her killing. Like she figured out who she should be as a comic and who she was as a comic, and she was just she killed.
Yeah. If you look her up online, she has a zillion like talk show appearances, not just her stand-up spots, but she was a kind of a co-host or just on a lot of, in the 80s and 90s there were a zillion talk shows, but she has so many of those appearances where they're just like kind of relying on her to be naturally funny. I love Marsha Warfield.
Yeah, she was incredible.
I'm so pissed that they brought fucking Night Court back for John Larroquette and they didn't use, she got to make an appearance, but they did not use her. Instead, they employed another
somebody like her.
Didn't Bull just die?
He did.
He did?
Yeah.
That dude
when?
Just a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
Did you know him?
Nah, but I always liked him. And back then you watch people on TV and you see if they can survive the show that made them famous. And he kind of did better than a lot of people after that. But then he kind of just disappeared.
Yep.
But I didn't know he just died.
He did just die.
That's like somebody back in the day. If he died, you'd figured you'd hear about it. But time has changed so much.
Thank you.
And sometimes when these people die that were big back then, they were so huge back then. Like the people that are covering the media now, they're so young, they don't even know these people.
They don't get exactly.
And they don't give them their props.
Ding, 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 ding.
So it's almost better to die early.
Yeah.
So the people who you entertain could write your obituary. You
like
know
an accurate obituary.
Yeah, an accurate,
That's a great point because I feel like, nostalgia is like a thing for me, but there are legends. And first, we're all in media, but media hasn't existed for that long. So there are these icons that are leaving us in the blink of an eye. But
they get one line.
Yeah.
And you're like, this person was more than one line.
You have no idea how formative.
Just a paragraph?
Yes.
Yeah.
I agree. And I just remember, not to always talk about Michael Jackson, but the day he died, right before he did, Farrah Fawcett did.
And Ed McMahon.
Yeah. And these guys, Ed McMahon was a huge figure in American culture. But there's so many Simpsons punchlines and SNL punchlines that are all Ed McMahon.
That's funny. You're right. I knew Farrah Fawcett died, but I didn't realize he died around the time of Ed McMahon died at the time of Michael Jackson, so he definitely got erased.
Yeah, just gone.
Yeah.
That's a bigger story. So, but that's not the best comparison because Michael Jackson's huge. But Tina Turner got a pretty good send off, but she was.
I don't even think so.
You don't think so?
She got decent compared to everybody else.
Yeah,
her age that dies now, but it should have been.
But she's a one name. She's multi-generational. Her story obviously is epic. But I agree, it was this weird thing. Bob Barker is not my I don't think he's as comparable as Tina Turner, but as an American kind of institution, he was too old for people to register that. You know, that was so last century. People couldn't. It was like saying someone in vaudeville died. You'd be like, what?
Wait a minute, Bob Barker died?
He did. No, we gotta get you a newspaper. We're gonna get you a newspaper.
When did he die?
Straight to the obituary. Wait, you didn't know?
No, I'm actually real. I thought he died a while ago.
No, a month ago.
Shit.
He was kicking. He was in there kicking. He had it. He had that old school where it's make your money, have a great day job, be done by 5 p.m., you know, and then retire.
Right.
Yeah. Fucking retire.
That's what I don't get. When people are super, super rich and they try to keep going on, I'm like, just fuck off. Why would you not? If you were on Friends and you're getting they get $20 million a year in residual.
Which I didn't know. I just learned that.
And it's
that's crazy.
Just crazy. Just fuck off.
Yeah.
You don't need you anymore.
Spend 19 million. Save $1 million.
Yeah.
For me, it's all about get Judge Judy, right? Which is her arc is different, but her residuals are so insane. I'm like, say goodbye.
Yeah.
Live on a yacht for the rest of your fucking life.
Yeah, I ain't judging shit after that.
No, yeah, exactly. What are you, because that's something Laura always really likes to talk about. Is there a moment in your career where you were I've made it, I have enough, I've not done everything I've wanted, but you've arrived?
No, I still don't think I've arrived. I'm still working to arrive.
Yeah.
But I'm disappointed in that and happy about that at the same time because I feel like I'm waiting for the moment when I arrive. But if I do, I know I wouldn't be as funny because I know I arrived and I wouldn't work hard and take pride in trying to still make it in my mind.
Yep.
So that keeps my comedy at a certain level that's respected. My fear is like if the money matches, I feel like the level of my comedy, I know me. Like I'd be in fuck off mode.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Totally. Do you like writing for TV, or is it something where you're like, I wish I was on TV, or you can do both?
I'd like to do both. I feel like being on TV takes less time out of your schedule than being in a writer's room.
Yeah.
So that's the advantage. And then I can do stand up, and people see me on TV will make them come out to see the stand up more.
Yeah, it feeds itself.
I like show business, period. So writing is a part of show business. So I like it.
Was that something you say you like show business, period? I've always been like obsessed with it, but then kind of found myself in it a little bit.
Right.
Was it your path the same, or you were always kind of interested in entertainment?
I was always interested in just entertainment.
Did you perform ever before you tried stand up at Governor's?
Nah.
But it was something in you that you appreciated.
Yeah, like my mother always used to watch movies, so I used to watch them with her.
Like what?
Just any black and white old movie, any Western, just anything. You know, she'd come home in the evening from work, be doing some ironing, the TV be on. We just all be in the living room watching it. And then when I came here, I used to watch all the late night talk shows. I was drawn to them, you know. And this is before even thinking about doing stand-up or anything. Just being, I like being entertained.
Yeah.
And I never thought of even being in this world.
Laura has another question too. What were you like in high school? What was your group you ran around with? Friends? Were you involved like in school or?
I knew some of the popular people, but I wasn't popular.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I like that designation.
I was popular adjacent.
Yeah.
Because some of the popular people were cool.
Uh-huh.
But, you know, I had a Jamaican accent. I just come to the country. You know, I didn't have a head start or no shit like that. So I'm just trying to acclimate.
And that's what comedy really helped out with, was acclimating.
Yeah. And that's what drove me to comedy or to being funny, was like, all right, this is a way to acclimate. Being funny when you don't know everything. You don't have the full context of growing up in the country. At least if you're funny, people will hang with you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You grew up where in the city, or where in New York?
In Long Island, Uniondale.
Uniondale. And then did you ever live in the city?
Nah. I lived in Jersey City and Brooklyn a little bit. But I just was in the city. Once I got into my first New York City club, I was in the city every night performing at that club.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was everything.
So that was everything.
And is it just one of those intuitive things where you're like, I'm just going to trust my gut and follow this? Like pursuing stand-up.
Yeah.
Because it's one of the few things, at least in my dumb life, where you get not the instant gratification of laughter, but like one gig leads to the next.
Right.
You're daisy chaining this existence together, and before you know it, you've done something, right? Yeah. I don't know of other places that work like that, where it's like it's not paycheck to paycheck, but it is just gig to gig.
Right.
And for me, it was like half disillusion, or that's the wrong word for it, but delusional of like trusting it.
There is an element of delusion, you know, because like to commit to something on the word of a stranger through a drive-through window.
While you're wearing a paper crown.
Yeah, while I definitely had on the paper crown and the corduroy Burger King uniform with the stains.
No.
But it is an intuitive thing. The person tells you this, compliments you, and I'm like, I don't even know if that was me. That's the part of me that happens when I shroom. You know, I jumped out without any drugs and was like, that's what we're going to do for the rest of our life.
Yes.
And I was like, all right, I ain't putting up a fight with this. But I forgot what your question was.
It's okay. We started talking about drugs and I got distracted.
Right.
I've been just
Me too.
I love psychedelics. Have you ever done like ayahuasca or any stuff like that?
Yeah, I did ayahuasca once.
I really want to.
You've never done it?
I've never done it. I've talked to several friends who have, and they've done it, I don't know, in lots of different places and countries, some in California.
Right.
Where have you gone for it?
this really tropical place called Santa Monica.
You do it outside?
Nah, we did it in somebody's nice ass home. In Santa Monica. A lot of people are going to the jungle.
No.
And all that shit. Nah, man. You said Santa Monica, nice house. My friend rented the house. And we just did it there.
Yeah. Did y'all have like a guide and stuff? Or?
Yeah.
Okay.
We had a guide and shit. And it was, first of all, you're doing ayahuasca. That means you're trying to get to a level of spirituality that makes you a better person.
Mm-hmm.
But some people who have gone to South America to have done it, they act like you didn't really do it because you did it in Santa Monica. There's the jazz snobbery. And it's I thought maybe you didn't really do it because you're acting like you're better than me because you did it there. You know what I mean?
Also, I feel like...
And what's the drug all about? It's about putting us all on the same plane. So fuck off,
it's not a
nerd.
competition.
Yeah.
I will say this. I feel like if you're flying your ass all the way to like South America to do ayahuasca just to get on a plane and deal with regular people and the stress and the banal of this world, it sort of shaves off some of the immediate benefit of ayahuasca, right?
Yeah.
It throws you right back into the fucking fire.
You're just going just to throw up on Machu Picchu.
So, okay, really, because I actually am genuinely interested in like psychedelics as a healer and all that kind of stuff. How long after you have like what do you call it? Like a session? What do you call it? A treatment?
I don't know what
a
they
weekend?
call it. Yeah, like my joint was like, I think it was a Friday night. Mm-hmm. And after that, I found out people do it like over 2 nights.
Yeah, you do a first dose, and then the next night you do a second, and I think you take more.
Right.
Was it a juice or whatever you drink?
We did 2 doses in one night.
Yeah.
But I think people do 2 in a night, and then the next night 2 the next night, or maybe more, like you said. I've never done the 2-day thing.
Yeah. Was it fun?
Yeah, like it's either I'm special or I don't know what, because one person was throwing up, which was a thing they said was going to happen.
Correct.
And all my research,
yes,
watching videos online that
of people vomiting.
People vomiting. And then I've always wanted to do it, and I never got the opportunity. And then this opportunity came up years after I wanted to do it.
Gotcha.
So on my way to do it, I was like, shit, I forgot everything that I researched about it 2 years ago when I wanted to do it. So then I watched some videos on YouTube as I drove in the car. Yeah. And 2 of the most important things was like, don't fight it and set some intentions.
Okay.
So then I was like, all right, that's what I need to do. Because I was like, I'm on my way to do this thing. I don't know what I'm going.
In like a mile.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
What were your intentions?
My intention was, so I have a friend who got accidentally shot in the leg, right? So he died for like 5 minutes. But when he died, like, he's floating above his body and all that stuff like that, coded and all that.
Wow.
And then, but he was gone towards the light and was talking to some beings and stuff like that.
Wow.
And then there's like, you got to go back. But he didn't want to go back. Yeah. And he's like, what about this? I don't want to stop feeling this love that I'm feeling from this light, or wherever the direction we're going in. And then it was like, it's on earth, you know what I'm saying? You just gotta pay attention. And then every time I watch a near-death experience on YouTube, because there's a bunch of them on YouTube now, and a lot of them are similar. You just hear that, like, you start feeling this peace and love, and nobody wants to come back, And then so I was like, I want to feel the love that people feel when they die while I'm alive. So that was my intention.
Did you ever listen to Coast to Coast?
Yeah.
The AM radio show?
Yeah. I used to listen to that a lot.
Me too.
On the way from shows.
Exactly. Yeah. Because the hours are perfect. It's on from like midnight to 5 a.m. And whatever they're talking about is
this still on?
Yes.
The same guy?
He's dead. He died.
He died?
He did die.
Did George Norrie die?
Oh no! I
But the first guy.
Yeah.
What was his name?
Shit, I don't know.
George Norrie's still on, but there's another dude who's like taking over because George Norrie's old. But one of the specials, or one of the topics they had, was a man who'd written a book about child near-death experience, and he'd interviewed all these kids who had whatever coded and everything. And I'll never forget this quote. They were saying all these insane,
wow.
beautiful, poetic, beautiful things. Art Bell.
Art Bell, yeah.
Sorry, I'll remember
Dope dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I liked Art Bell. But one of the quotes the kids said was about, like, what does it feel like to die? The kid said, you die the life you live.
Shit.
And I was like, that is so, it's like a greeting card. It's a little too profound.
Yeah.
But I remember I was like, right? But a fucking 5-year-old like spit that shit out. I was like, I know.
Bars.
That made me...
Bars, 5-year-old.
I had a friend whose mother said that they were going to McDonald's, and he said something. I can't remember what it was. It was like very profound. And she was like, where did you learn that? And he goes, from my other life. She's like, what do you mean your other life? He goes, the one that I had before this one.
What?
He didn't remember
That's your
at all.
friend's mom?
My friend's mom said that, yeah.
Because I've watched the videos on YouTube of parents that have kids like that.
Yeah.
And they go investigate some of it. And some of it like be true. The last one I saw was this guy. He was the author of like Gone with the Wind or some shit.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, shit, the little kid was?
the little kid was. Like, and he talked about how he died, and then they went to there, and then that's how he fucking died.
Wow.
Yeah, like I'm buried on a farm.
It was like tapped into the thing.
Yeah.
I think I've told you this before. My friend Christy Reeves' mom had this. She had like a normal house, and then behind it was this insane like mansion you'd never see. Like, and in that house was all these old fucking antiques. And one of them was like, an old hotel, the key slots, right? The big armoire thing with like the different rooms. They had one of those. And her nephew was like 2 or 3. He was on the spectrum. He didn't speak, as my understanding. But he'd make a beeline. As soon as he went to his grandma's house, he'd go straight for that thing, and he would talk to it, and he would name names. And that was things he couldn't do in his day-to-day life. But it was like that was like a conduit for the guests of the hotel, and that's who was like talking to him.
Holy shit. See, like that kind of stuff, people are like, oh, I don't believe in it. Shit. I'm like, the thing I say is like, I just don't know. I don't, like, it could be.
Yeah.
I mean, like they say, like in Ireland, like you're not supposed to walk, in fields at night because you could step on a ferry or.
Yeah. Iceland does that shit too.
Yeah, like that kind of shit. I'm like, you know what? I don't believe in fairies or leprechauns, but I'm not going to fuck with it.
My boyfriend's Hawaiian. You can't say night marchers. Do you know about them?
Oh my God, because then they show
Do you know
up.
about them?
No, but now I'm going to keep saying that shit.
Look it up. No, you're not supposed to, because it's for like non-islanders, right? And invaders, essentially. And so when the sun goes down, their eyes glow. They're soldiers, and they march like 3 feet above the ground, so they float. And you're supposed to, if they're coming towards you, you're supposed to rip off all your clothes, and you're supposed to bury like your face and body in the ground. And then they'll glide over you. Otherwise, they take them with you.
No, shit.
But yeah, they're there to like protect the lands, essentially.
What's their deal against clothes?
Because you're supposed to blend in with the nature.
Oh, right.
I think is the whole, because you're like,
my white ass wouldn't look like
same. I know. I'd be like, that would make me more visible. They'd see me more.
Make you more or less Hawaiian.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
I'm like, but my boyfriend's Hawaiian. But that's not like the gateway I want it to be, right?
It's like when you go to like Louisiana or like anywhere in the South, and there's a lot of Haitians and a lot of like voodoo and santeria and shit like that. I'm like, again, I don't want to believe it, but at the same time, I'm like, I'm not gonna fuck.
I was just in
if you're in New Orleans, like
the Treme, we
feel
were
that
just
shit,
there.
dude.
I love that shit.
Yeah.
I loved it too because Halloween was weeks ago and they still had all their stuff up. I was like, I love this town. Have you ever tripped there?
No, I've never been to New Orleans.
What?
Yeah.
How is that possible?
That's what I'm thinking. Like,
How
is
have
that
you never
possible?
been to New Orleans?
Exactly.
I can't believe you've never been to New Orleans.
Nah, me neither. I can't believe it.
What? How is life not taking you there?
No idea. Maybe one. Is there a club there? A comedy club there?
Honestly, that's probably why. Yeah, no.
Yeah.
We did. It was a theater show we did.
Oh, okay.
We. It's Margaret's show. It's not my show. I keep saying we. Do you know Margaret?
Nah, I've said hi to her before. I've been on shows with her, but no, I don't.
Yeah.
I haven't like really spoken to her.
Do you like to hang out at shows? I do my set and I'm so nervous I always run.
I do that too, but I was just trying to remember. I saw her. It was before the pandemic. It was in Seattle. What was that music festival they used to have? They used to have comedy.
Bonnaroo?
No.
It's close. Bumper Shoot or something.
Bumper Shoot.
Oh,
Yeah. That's where I saw her.
You performed at a music festival?
Yeah.
Did it work?
Yeah, because Bumper Shoot has comedy, so people are down to hear comedy. Like, I wouldn't think it would work, but it was a great time to go to a festival. I like music festivals anyway.
Yeah.
So to go to one, perform at it, and just have access to like VIP access to all the shows, you can't beat that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But you like music. Do you go see music?
Yeah, like I'll try to go to at least one music festival a year. So normally that's, what's the thing?
Coachella?
But
Really?
if not that, I performed at the other one in Tennessee.
Bonnaroo. I went to Bonnaroo.
Yeah. So that was fire.
Yeah.
You know, and it was just a good time. And it stays with you all year. You have a good time.
Yeah.
You know, you have trauma.
Yeah.
And it stays with you.
Yes.
Like you can have good time trauma where you just be like chilling, and then the thought of all that fun just pops into your head, and you can be like, oh shit, yeah.
That's beautiful.
So it just lasts. So I always make sure I go to one a year because I know I'm going to have some fun in it. It'll just come out of nowhere, and I'll just get the residuals.
Yeah.
Have fun from it. You know?
Residual vibes.
Yeah.
Do you listen to any new music, or is it mainly older stuff?
Everything.
Everything,
yeah.
Like what's something you're listening to right now?
Here's the thing, because you have like Spotify or YouTube Music. Like when you used to listen to the radio, they used to tell you before and after every song who that was by, but now I'm just listening to shit. I'm enjoying a lot of shit, but there's nothing telling me.
Yeah.
And like reiterating the name of the artist. Like I might go to a concert, like one of these music festivals, and be like, oh, I listen to that song all the time. I just didn't know the name of it.
Who it was?
You know, just could be anybody.
Right.
You know,
it's an ocean of sound.
It's an ocean of sound. It's just everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Were you blocked? My like music is totally blocked in like the 80s, 90s. Anything beyond like new music, like so a Nelly song came on and someone told me that. I was like, that means that song's like 20 something years old. Do you know what I mean? It was like an Ace of Base song came on. I was like, that song is like 35 years old.
No, I'm not blocked because I'll watch the Grammys too. Or one of those just to catch up for the year on everything that I missed.
Just to get a tally.
Just to be like, all right, that's how I do my music taxes. Like these are all the receipts.
Yes.
This is all the shit that's been going on that I missed.
See, I'm so old I watch the Grammys just for the people who've died segment.
Oh damn.
Like
Sometimes they forget people.
So they did a really long one this last time, right?
Yeah.
And it was so long that I thought it was over. And that they left off Christine McVie from Fleetwood Mac.
Yeah.
And my boyfriend he didn't know any of the dead people. And I was like, that is such bullshit. I was like, everybody has their head up their fucking ass for Stevie Nicks, and nobody gives a shit about Christine. And then Bonnie Raitt comes on the screen. I was like, oh, fuck. And then there's fucking Mick Fleetwood.
Took it to the next level.
2 seconds, I'm weeping because she nailed it.
She got an encore.
It was fucking beautiful.
Yeah.
And then fucking Sheryl Crow was there too, but whatever. Did you see that?
No.
Oh, watch it.
Seeing that.
It's beautiful.
I love Bonnie Raitt.
I weep to Bonnie Raitt. She's the really. I work for
guitar. Just amazing.
She's still alive?
Yes.
Yeah.
No, I'd tear up if she was gone. She's her, Sade, I think are the last 2 people I need to see live. Have you seen her live?
No, I feel like I've seen her live and I forgot.
No.
So I'm trying to like, did I and where was it?
Yeah.
You know, because I think it was a performance that I didn't expect her to be at and show up, but I can't. You know, the answer is mostly no.
Yeah. Are there people left on your list that you want to meet, or like musicians, like comics you want to meet, or?
Yeah, I really don't want to meet anybody. Like, I'm not like the type of person that is like, oh, there goes so and so. Let me go say hi. I don't mind seeing them work live, but I don't have to meet them.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
What about like musicians? Are there bands because I feel like I've seen everyone or they're dead.
Musicians,
or I just jinx everybody when I say that.
I've seen a lot of people. When you go to like a music festival, like at least once a year, sometimes twice, you get bang for your buck. It's like it's like a Groupon to all concerts. You know what I'm saying?
People are really friendly at festivals.
Yeah, and then the people who don't go, they're online spewing all this hate. And I'm like, I'd rather be at the festival when everybody's at Christmas mode. Like, people saved up to go to those events and to have fun. Their intention is set subconsciously or consciously. So you're running into people in their best vibes. And the people that don't go, I get it. Like, festival people look annoying. You know, they look like, but but so then people be like online, like, I wish a bomb would go off at Coachella. Like people, but it's like, why would I stay home with you?
Exactly.
I'd rather be in that field with people skipping and having a good time. Like, I'll be a part of that. Yeah,
it is that.
I remember being hungover in a Taco Bell on a Sunday afternoon and seeing this group. They were probably like in their late 20s, and they were playing some anime card game or whatever. These guys just in a corner, and there was one girl, And I was like, these fucking nerds. And they were having so much fun. I was like, damn, dude.
Yeah, look at you.
They're
Yeah.
having fun. I was like, that fucking rules. I love seeing that kind of shit.
Nerds live in action.
Yeah.
In the wild.
And just happy.
Well, that was the thing. It's been a minute since I've been to. Okay, so we would go to festivals like that where you're kind of camped in. That changes the mentality a bit. But then like Austin City Limits was where you kind of have a little bit. People aren't not well intentioned, but they haven't set an intention, or maybe they're just going to see something and leave. It's a little bit more of a disposable experience that tainted it. I miss being where we're all locked in.
Right.
It's not even survivor mode. It's like we made it. It's a little heavenly where it's like people. How can 90 to 120,000 people really get along that well? There aren't incidents. There's not like assault. You don't see drunk fights. You know, you don't really see that there.
One of the times I went to ACL was I learned to avoid. This is back when men wore those like True Religion jeans. You know, those were kind of big.
Hey, they're back. Watch out.
I would avoid any man who had like a pattern like on the back of his jeans or like a weird wash or anything. I was
That's
like,
a good
that guy
rule.
sucks.
Yeah, I think that's a good general rule of thumb.
A man with rhinestones, not like Dan's wearing rhinestones, but
this
you know what I
is
mean.
bedazzled.
Bedazzled.
This
Okay.
is studded. My studded corn hoodie that I'm never taking off. Okay, so wait, are you hitting the road? What's going on? The strike is over. You can promote
Strike
things.
is over.
How was that for you?
It felt like a mini pandemic.
Yeah.
And then as a comic, I just had a bunch of road gigs. So I just did those, and those are over. So,
You sound happy.
I mean, like I said, I know what staying in town is like. So sometimes just staying in town is like, what are you just doing? Just staying in town?
Yeah.
Like there's Starbucks in other towns.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I just let's go hang out at a Starbucks in another town and get on the computer and edit some clips and do some shit. But I don't have any gigs for the rest of the year, but I think next year, like from May on, I should have a bunch of stuff.
Do you feel pressure to post crowd work clips and all that?
I don't think it's pressure. It's like I see what it's done for people. And I was like, I want to expand my profile and have people come out to see me. So I'll do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll find some stuff and do it.
Is that something you do? Do you talk to crowds, generally speaking, when you're on stage?
I used to when I first started, and I used to tell bookers I had 20 minutes when I had 5. So I always used to do crowd work. But then I wanted to have material so I can be on TV shows. So then I always mostly worked on material. But now it's like, I got to dip back into my crowd work skills to have some material to put online.
It is a skill. I try not to shit on it because I'm so old school. I'm like, like 60 years ago it was hacked, but that was 60 years ago. Like we can't like operate in that mentality.
Todd Berry has a whole special called Crowd Work.
Kirsten just put one out.
Incredible.
It's called No Material.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Which I love.
And she's funny.
Yeah.
She could do that.
100%. Yeah. There's some, but if you've ever waited tables, or it's like, I guess you talked about it, like the Burger King thing. It's like you have to make your work fun,
right?
Especially with customers, right? Because sometimes the customer is not interesting, and you're the one that makes it interesting. Maybe if not just for yourself, if only. But I feel like if you've ever bartended or waited tables or had to chit chat with normal people and make them fun. That to me, that's where it's like a personal thing for me. I'm like, I'm done talking to customers. That's why I started stand up.
Right.
I'm over customer service.
Yeah, you're like, I'm going to get paid to talk to customers.
Yeah, or it could be that.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Turn it around.
Is there any comedians that you're really hyped on right now that you want to talk about? Or
I think Burr's really good. Keith Robinson had 2 strokes, so he's about to shoot a special in December.
Amazing.
So I told him I heard that his material is good because I haven't been in New York to see him. So I suggested I had a call. We could say anything to each other. I told him I need him to take a dive on the special and not kill.
That's great.
Yeah, but listen, there's a lot of funny people out there. There's regular people I talk to every day. Comments in the comment section, there's a lot of funny motherfuckers. Sometimes as a comic, you like to believe that there's a limited amount of people who are funny so that you'll always work. But it doesn't, there's just a lot of funny people. Some memes I'll be seeing, like, how did they fucking come up with this shit?
Yeah.
You know, it's like, this shit is hilarious. So there's a lot of funny people, which is thank God.
Yeah. But you're one of the funniest.
Yeah.
See?
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Thanks for
Took
being
that.
here.
Yeah,
I
thank you
appreciate
so
you.
This
much.
is great. Thanks, Ian.
Yeah, thanks for being 5 minutes from my house.
Yeah, I'll try to do it more.
I know. We should have carpooled. Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks, everybody.
All right.
Great job.
All right,
Bye.
bye.